Welcome to Daylight Africa. This is Mutiu Olawuyi, and this is the inaugural version or series of Daylight Africa, of course, 2022. And this year, we have a lot of program in place for us to explore with the team of travelers from the United States. And I want you to go with me so that you can have a taste of what we passed through this year, 2022. It was a warm summer day in 2022, precisely on September 2nd, when a group of 10 arrived at JFK Airport in New York City. Sheikh Musa, Drammeh, the founder and initiator of Daylight Africa Week, led the group. They were embarking on a journey to explore the African continent and discuss the beauty, culture, and opportunities it had to offer. Their first destination was Senegal, where they visited Dakar and Gorée Island. The group stayed at a 4-star hotel in Dakar and enjoyed the local cuisine while exploring cities, museums, and historical sites.
The First Lady looked like us. I am sure the Mayor of Dakar looked like us. We're home. Nobody can discriminate against us at home. Nobody can kick us out. Nobody can look down upon us. We're home. When you come, we're your hosts. We're home. Queen Mother said, if we achieve nothing, one thing we must achieve. And that thing is to bring the African family back together. We have the African descendant. And Queen Mother said, we have the Africans in the diaspora. And then we have the African on the continent. And Queen Mother said, if all we achieve is to unify the 3 Africans, then we have achieved our goal. And we have done it. Give them hands. Congratulations.
Coming from New York City, North America, to the motherland, starting in Senegal, and we're going on to Gambia. Why the 2 places? The door of no return at the slave house in Gorée. The door of no return to Jufrey and its Haley roots. Sheikh Salou Mbake and a place called Helcom said to me, I am his daughter, and being his daughter, it is my duty to bring the children home.
Queen Mother Blakely led the group on a visit to Gorée Island, where they learned about the history of the transatlantic slave trade and the impact it had on the African continent and its people.
If they don't reach 60 kg, they didn't go to America, but they sold them in auction. And they stay locally as domestic slaves, particularly on this island, or in St. Louis. And also under the stairs was where they put the rebellious slaves, just because they use it as a punishment for slaves. No window, just an iron with bar. And the problem for the guards was not to know exactly how many captives it was possible to put inside at the same time. It was just how to shut the door after the captives. Just because usually they consider captives not as human beings, but as a simple merchandise.
This is my first time going to Gorée Island. I heard a lot about it, the historical aspect of it. You know, I'm happy to experience it, but I'm also very sad to experience it. But I know that Africa has a brighter future ahead, and I'm a part of that experience. And Gorée Island is going to be changed to a different idea, a different experience.
Yeah, we're back. we're on our way back to Dakar, having explored Gorée Island. We've been able to see beyond what we have been seeing in a textbook, the reality on ground, and what our forefathers faced in the hands of the terrorists, so-called the colonialists. And today we're saying that the door of no return that you saw previously is now going to become the doors of return forever. And that's why we're dealing with Daylight Africa.
Among the events that marked the inaugural version of Daylight Africa 2022 was education workshop. The group then attended an education forum led by Professor Mamadou Drammeh, who discussed the importance of STEM education in Africa. Another event that marked the beginning of Daylight Africa was cinema film show led by Terrarini, the president of African American Women in Cinema. There they watched films from African American women in cinema and documentaries. The night ended with a cultural dinner and entertainment.
Deals with young millennials in the United States who describe their process in becoming a lawyer, so you will hear from them. And then the last film that we will show in terms of the American filmmakers is dealing with colorism, which we found was a major issue in USA, but never been talked about.
Why no one's know, why black people in north of Chicago are asking me question on Africa. Like, for me, it was obvious. And I think one of the mission of film, of making a film, is also killing a stereotype.
Drammeh can you sauce? Drammeh can you sauce? Sheikh Musa Drammeh.
The group traveled to the Gambia to complete the inaugural tour of the continent. The highlight of the trip was a visit to Kachikali Crocodile Farm in Bakau.
I'm the man that feed the crocodiles with the fish, no people. So I got 100 crocodiles, and I would say everybody's welcome to Kachikali Crocodile Pool.
After visiting Kachikali Crocodile Farm, the group visited the National Center for Art, Culture and Literature in Banjul, with exploration of the museum at the center.
An initiative that is going to connect people of African descent to their root. Nobody can say that is not commendable. As a government, when it comes to certain issues, we take principled positions on them. This includes issue of inclusiveness, issue of justice, fairness. These are very paramount in our foreign policy as well as our domestic policy. People, wherever they are, we believe must be included.
Daylight Africa is designed to create global ambassadorship. When people are happy, they will tell other people. When people are sad, they will tell other people. That's why it is their duty, as part of their responsibility of highlighting the positive aspect of their nation, to make sure that we're happy. Because if we're not happy, we're going to be on Facebook, WhatsApp, and everything. It has been a wonderful experience. We have been, gradually progressing toward a better and more positive experience, from day one until now.
They visited Banjul Visiting Council, where they met the first female mayor of the city, Rohi Malik Law.
To bring in the youth, even though if they don't have capacity, and try to get into them, to share the vision and the mission of the city, to enable them to have the capacity. So if you have somebody who is like raw, and you bring him or her up in the institution, before 5 years, they become professionals in their own rights. So they master the game. So this is what we normally do.
The highlight of the event in the Gambia was the celebration of AU at 20, sponsored by African Union Day Foundation in partnership with Daylight Africa Incorporation and the Gambian government. And the award presentation, called Holden Nalaya Award, presented posthumously to Holden Nalaya herself and Sheikh Omar Jallo of the Gambia Center for Art and Culture. The group watched cultural dances by different groups and enjoyed speeches of panelists led by Queen Mother Breakley.
With the door being open in Gori and on into Jufri, the vision of our son has become a reality. God gave him the vision. And the vision I don't want you to ever forget. Daylight Africa. It is Daylight Africa.
We're not here to enjoy ourselves, we're here to see what is going on with our people and to project the positive side of Africa. That is why it's Daylight Africa. We'll make sure that we rebrand Africa through Daylight Africa. And that is why we didn't feel that for the first time, if you consider the best place to explore in Africa, the best place to display the image of Africa, the best place to debunk the false narrative about Africa is the Senegambia region, especially the Gambia. And this is why we are celebrating the African Union, the 20th anniversary of African Union here in the Gambia.
The African Union defined African diaspora as peoples of African origin living outside the continent, irrespective of their citizenship and nationality, and who are willing to contribute to the development of the continent and the building of the African Union. This definition vigorously underscores the significant role of the African diaspora, the significant role the African diaspora plays in the development of our continent, and such initiatives should be supported at all levels.
Celebrating 20 years of African Union is a pride, but when we reflect on where are we, our economics, our means of production, our educational system, our socialization process, where are we?
The ones that were born on the continent in Africa and went abroad, and people like myself and my colleague down there, who were not born on the continent, but we're descendants of the enslaved, the stolen children of Africa. We are another group of diasporans, a group of diasporans who are desperate to return home. Why? Because we love Africa. What is Africa? Is it a piece of land? Or is it us? Africa wasn't born in me, I was born in Africa. It's part of my DNA, whether I like it or not. I can't deny what the Creator put inside of me as an African. How do you see us returning home? And it's important because we do want to come home and invest. We do want to build the Africa for our young people. The African continent is very youthful. I think Gambia is 18 to 35. That's very young. What is the legacy? We as the older generation, and I'm part of the older generation, not as old as Queen Mother, but I'm getting there. What is the legacy you as young people want us as the elders to leave for you before we leave this earth? You need to tell us.
We decided that every year, from September 2nd to September 9th, every year from now on, we're going to bring as many people as we can possibly bring. The difference is that we don't qualify people. We don't care whether you have money or not. We just want you to come to Gambia. Come and see it for yourself, experience, so that you will see the daylight that we're experiencing. If you don't come, you're going to be deceived. Bad images, bad narrative, lies. And the truth is when you come, you will see it on the ground. That's why we're here, my brothers and sisters. Next year, our goal here is to bring thousands of people. And this is not only to Gambia, but as I'm speaking to you, 4 African nations are celebrating Daylight Africa right now. 4 African nations. Africa is our home, and Africa is our responsibility to build, and Africans must be part of the building of Africa.
On the final day of the tour of the continent through Daylight Africa in 2022, the group visited Kunta Kinte Island, where they learned about the history of slave trade in the Gambia.
Today concludes our most emotional journey, historic journey, very impactful. Coming to this island and learning about its history and its impact on us and the successive European colonizers that came here and brutalized our people in the most inhumane way possible, in the most criminal way possible, the most painful way possible, reinforces our resolve to do what we're doing, Daylight Africa, bringing people from all walks of life, from all over the world, to come and see it for themselves. Let them witness what we have been witnessing for the past 2 weeks, from Gore Island to now Kunta Kinte Island. We have seen and experienced horrendous stories associated with these historic venues. And all of us have forever been transformed, and we will not be the same post coming here.
On the final note, as you have seen so far, that the inaugural edition of Daylight Africa proved to be unique, memorable, and of course, fruitful. We appreciate everyone that contributed to the success of this project for our continent, for our roots. And we promise to continue to reconnect our people back to the roots through Daylight Africa.